Thank you, techWebinarNepal, for organizing this webinar themed around the mental health. As we all know that mental health is such a stigmatized topic, even in the other countries, so especially in Nepal, it's very stigmatized. So it's really good to see that we are actually talking about this, especially amid the COVID-19 pandemic. It is very essential for us to be aware of it and to accept it as something that can be helped with a proper consultation, support, and guideline. So my thanks again to the organizing team. Today I'll be talking about managing mental health to survive and thrive. So let me introduce myself. I'm Madhuri Shrestha. I work as a senior software engineer at CloudFactory, and you can connect with me using the Twitter handle and the LinkedIn details that I have shared with you here. So I have more than 5+ years of experience in this, working in this field of technology. So let's move on to our session. So this picture is self-descriptive, right? So if we think carefully, this is our world and us right now. With the COVID-19 pandemic going global and all the vaccination and measures to control it still not being as effective as we have expected, and the numbers rising, our world seemingly looks like it's around chaos for a long time. And we can also feel that this is going to be the thing for some time in the time period as well. And along with the chaos of the pandemic, we have also been seeing a lot of governments failing and exposing the wrong sides and their weaknesses, flaws in how they can manage their country, their people, and the economy in such dire situations. So we can assume that even though we are in the state of denial, or we have even surpassed from it, it is very chaotic, and definitely it will impact our mental thoughts and specifically mental health on how we move forward. So even if we move upfront from denial and to acceptance, our acceptance might look something like this. So even though we accept the situation we are around in and try to do what we can to combat it, it is not something very easy to accept and move and work with, right? So even though we understand what the situation is and how it is impacting us, it can be very difficult to handle and tackle it. Thus comes the stress, exhaustion, and a lot of other problems for us. So especially for IT professionals, our job, our field is very different. We are heavy on creative thinking and innovation. So everything we do with a vision to have an impact, to solve something, right? So problem solving is the topmost thing that IT professionals are required to do. So we have to work a lot to balance the logical and creative side so that we can craft practical solutions to the problems that people are aware or are not yet aware of. That is what we do. We try to innovate and build technology to make the lives of people easier. So, and our profession also requires us to adapt and iterate according to situation. We have to be very agile. A lot of changes coming in during when we are working. A lot of changes in project demand, what the stakeholder requires, what the client wants to see from us. So we have been adapting. We have been working in that environment as IT professionals as well. And the most important thing when our job demands that much is that we need to focus our complete attention and our brain power on our work. So that is a lot going on and a lot of things required when we are working, even if it is not a situation with chaos around the world. But with the current situation, things have gotten even more difficult for us IT professionals. It has gotten difficult for everyone else, but talking about the profession on the perspective of IT professionals, the first thing that I would have to mention is change of working environment. So talking in context of Nepal, not all of the IT professionals work remotely, and even if they do, working remotely in other circumstances and working remotely during pandemic looks very different. We have to realize that and empathize with that. Not everybody has a proper working environment at their home. Some people might have a proper setup, proper space dedicated to do their work, but some people might share their space with a lot more people. Some people might have live in the areas where working regularly or focusing might not be as much as easy as we would be expecting in an office environment. And to add to that, the problems with electricity load setting and internet connectivity is prevalent at that we cannot even deny. We have been facing that for a very long time. And with this change in situation, what has also increased in our lives is drastically increased screen time. So when I say screen time, it means the time you spend in front of our laptops and mobiles or even TV screens. So it's very easy to switch over to a screen from another screen. We can jump from laptop to my cell phone and vice versa as well, especially when we are working from home now a lot more and a lot more regularly than we probably have been before. It is very easy to get like stuck in front of laptop working overtime or working with things. And since we cannot interact with our teams in persons or have discussions like we used to before, this also adds to increased screen time. So when you are having meetings, when you are having discussions about the project you are working on, and if you follow Scrum and Agile, the retrospective meetings, the stand-ups, everything that actually adds a lot of screen time in your daily life. And another thing that we all know with this situation, we are not sure when this is going to get better, right? So there is uncertainty around what things are going to happen, how this is going to develop, and we have a sense of dread for the impending crisis. And the last point that I would really like to mention is that the mental pressure from society to be more productive during time. So as we have heard this, I believe a lot of us have heard this over this lockdown period or the COVID-19 pandemic period. Like we have a lot more time in our hand than we used to have before when we used to commute for work and go out and do things. So it means that since we have some more time, there's a lot of pressure to be more productive than what we used to do before. So this now someone might not come to you directly and say that, hey, now you are saving 2 hours from your commute time. Why don't you do something productive during that time? Why aren't you using it for doing something? Or why are you just taking that time to sit back and chill? So there is an indirect social pressure to be more productive. Yeah, it is the pressure that we put on ourselves, and it might also be the pressure that we might be having from our peers or other people as well. So with all of this, I believe this is the expression you have. I know, right? Like this sounds ridiculous with everything. And this last point, like it's really difficult to think that we are under so much right now and having to survive and thrive in this situation. So let me share some of the things I learned during this pandemic time, where first I learned to survive and then thrive. And I will also be sharing some of the experience I had with the organization I'm associated with. So the first steps would be surviving this. Nobody can master a new situation, right? We need to adapt step by step. And the first and foremost thing that we really need to consider is that we should not be comparing one's journey with someone else's. So what if someone else is attending 5 conferences over weekend and you are not even attending one? It's okay. You do not need to feel guilty or feel like you are not stepping ahead. You need to understand and listen to yourself what is right for you now. First, you need to survive and then only try. So do not compare what others are doing, how others are doing with how you are doing and what you are doing. try to self-reflect and then understand what I need to do right now that will make me feel better, what I need to do right now that will help me take another step forward. That's the first and foremost thing, so that we need to understand and accept to survive. Another thing, like I mentioned, with the increased screen time and with us being just an inch or even like a few feet away from our laptops, the boundaries for work time and non-work time can blur. So we might not even keep track of when we start working and when we are not working and like work overtime and stress our health. It might feel exhilarating at the first, since we have nothing else to do. We can go out, we can travel, but it is actually not really good for us in the long run, and our physical and mental health can suffer from it. So it is very necessary that we set boundaries for what time is for our work and what that time is not. Booking your time in calendar, sharing your working time, working hours, break hours with your team, communicating it properly to everyone you interact with would be very helpful. That would also give insights to people about the timeline you are available in, and also help them manage their time better in the same way. We humans are social animals, so without social interactions, we may be feeling something that can eventually turn into mental illness. So we really, really hunger and yearn for social interactions. And with the current situation, it can be very difficult to be interacting. So try and create some environment, some space to continue with the social interaction. You can do that virtually or with social distancing. If you live with your family, you can set some time to spend the quality time with your family members, interact with them, connect with them. And if you have friends, families, or even co-workers and peers, you can connect with them virtually. We have a lot of virtual tools that are free around for us to use and connect. For example, in our technology team, we have a daily check-in at 9 a.m., which is called our chia time. So it's morning tea time where we just check in, clock in, and talk about how we are feeling. We just discuss stuff that is not directly related to work, and just to freshen up our mind and to recreate the scenario how we come into work, and then wish good morning to everybody. Then we used to have 3 p.m. Snacks breaks in our office. So we have another tea time scheduled for that time, which is sometimes 15 minutes or 30 minutes of time where we share our ideas, share our side projects that we are working on, or even discuss about some topic that is bothering us in work. And on Fridays, we have a jam session where all the interested members actually join in by Zoom, and we have a virtual musical session where some of us sing, some of us play guitar, piano, share the talents, and sometimes we even invite guests so that it's more fun and we get to connect more. So having social interaction and trying to maintain that touch is very important for our mental health as well. I talked a lot about screen time, and it is very, very important that we intentionally try to get away from screens. Like I mentioned, it's very easy to like switch off your laptop and then jump into your mobile straight away. I do that. I have been doing that a lot of times. And whenever somebody mentions me that I just switched to mobile right after I wrapped up my work, I tell them that I'm just taking a break. Let me do that. But actually, it also adds to your stress. Moving from one screen to another screen cannot be considered as a break in this situation as well. And with the screen time that we are having and the social media news and everything that we are exposed to, if we do not keep a check on that, that will adversely affect our health and our capacity as well. This has been touched by other speakers before me as well, so you can guess how important that is. And the biggest thing I would like to mention is that if we are really struggling, reach out for help. Mental health is very important, and there is no shame in reaching out for help or admitting that you are having difficulties coping with the situation. That is the first step to survive. May was a mental health month, And I'm really glad that our company actively tried to like spread awareness about how mental health is important to us, and organize different events and interaction where we got to talk about how we can manage our mental health better, and then work with it to survive this situation. If you can, if you feel comfortable, reach out to your family members, friends, peers, anybody who you think can help you. If that is not enough, you can also seek for professional help. And believe me, the professional helps are really, really helpful, and they are easier to reach out to as well. If I share my personal experience, I also joined in a group session for mental health regarding this pandemic situation. So that was a really good session for me, because I got to reflect on how I was feeling, how was I doing, and where was I at in terms of acceptance, denial, and a complete check, proper check on the mental health situation for me. So that really helped me to self-reflect and have pointers for what I want to do in this time. So I really encourage you, if you are struggling, please reach out for help. So we talked about surviving, right? So what's the next step? Thriving. Even in adverse situations, we can thrive. We humans have that capability, and we have proved that time and again. So let me share some of the things I think would help you thrive in this situation. So first thing that really mattered for me was detaching my workspace from my home space. It can be physical or mental detachment. So it shouldn't feel like that. If you continue like blurring the space between your home and your workspace, working from home would start feeling like living at work. So living at work is not something you would like to do. So if it is possible, if your space and the area around your home is enough, you can have a separate corner where you start your work. So designate that space as your workspace. And when you are not working, don't go to that space. Like stay away from it. It could be a small corner in your room. It could be one side of your bed. It could be anything. Or you could even try like some mental notes too. So for me, what I do is, even though I'm working from home, I like to get ready for work. So that gives me a mental makeup of the definition that, okay, now I'm going to work, now I'm starting my work. So that also really helps you to create that space where you actually feel like you are working from home and not living at work. And another point that, which has been emphasized a lot by previous speakers as well, is that your mind and your body needs physical activity. We cannot stay healthy, whether physically or mentally, without physical activity. Our body releases endorphins when we are moving. So physical activity is a very key point to be able to thrive in this situation. It doesn't have to be something heavy. You can just simply have a walk. You can do some simple exercises. You can do yoga, like Mr. Mukesh mentioned. You can choose any activity that suits you, your body, and your need. So it's on you. But always remember that physical activity is very essential to keep your mind and body healthy and happy. Another point would be self-reflection. So unless we reflect on how we are doing, how our routine is working for us, we wouldn't be able to improve on that. So it is very important to self-reflect on our daily routine and identify what can be changed or what can be continued for good, so that we would keep thriving and keep doing better and adjusting better in this situation. And it is very necessary that during this time we be mindful about our choices. So it is necessary in other times as well, but it's more important right now, because every choices we make can have a very big impact on us during this time, and especially when we are so confined in spaces and not being able to live the life as we think as normal. It can have adverse effects to our thought processes, mental health, and other life choices as well. So it is very necessary that we be mindful about what choices we are trying to make and what actions we are taking. So the pointers for thriving starts over here, but it doesn't end over there. Once we start working to thrive in this situation, we have a lot more to do to continue thriving in this situation. So as we all know, the situation doesn't seem like to be getting better anytime soon. And even if it is better if we like take precautions and stay safe, maintain social distancing and whatnot, so that we all are in a safe space, right? So since this is going to last for a while, here are some of the few tips that I'd like to share would really help for us to stay healthy mentally and physically as well. So working from home means we would be sitting on our home space, working for 8 hours, 9 hours, and if situation be even more. So that is a lot of time spent looking at the screen, sitting in certain positions, and interacting. So that can actually really impact your eyes, your body, your spine, your shoulder, if you are not really mindful about your posture, your timings, how you are working, and everything. So try and invest in items that help you to work better and also help you to maintain a good posture, good timing, and make you comfortable while you are working. For example, I have shoulder problems, so I was doing fine for the first 2 weeks working on a small desk that I had. But with as the weeks progressed, my shoulder pain and my back pain got worse because that was not helping for my posture. So investing on a proper desk and table that actually helps with my posture really helped me recover from the pain and get healthier. So figure out what is important for you to work better and more comfortably and try to invest in those items one by one. Another thing is that staying at home, it might feel like we have nothing to do. We are just eating, we are working, we are sleeping. We might get bored with our routine, right? But this is also a right time to cultivate our hobbies because it will give a sense of refreshment for us and help us feel refreshed and excited about things. Now is the time if you want to try new things, you can do that. And this will also help you tick off that item from your bucket list or help with the mental health of your situation. So cultivating hobbies could also be a way for you to thrive in this situation. You would be have something different in your daily scenario, daily routine, and it would really be a refresher for you. Another thing would also be since the situation is getting difficult and things are changing, and especially for technology, for IT field, the changes happen rapidly, right? So when you are thriving, you can also start and learn new skills to keep yourself up to date with industry. The choice is yours. You can get better in things that you already know. You can go like deep learning, or you can try out new things and learn new things as per your uh, interests suit you. And the last thing that I would like to mention is that uh, this is a project, right? You are your project in this time. You have to be working on you to help you survive, cope, do better, and then thrive in this situation. So if you can, starting with a personal development plan about how you want to do and what you want to achieve for a few months, 6 months, 1 month in the long run, but prepared in such a way that everything is scheduled for at your own pace. Just plan it out, just put out your thoughts, your ideas, your interests about what you want to do, where do you want to see yourself in a month, in a two, what you would like to try. If it's going to take you more than a week to learn something, let it be. You can take 2 weeks to learn it. You don't have to finish it in a week. So just try to build a personal development plan for yourself and pace things out at your convenience and as it suits you so that you can keep track of how you are doing and how you are progressing. It is also very helpful because this is some kind of journaling, and journaling actually really works really good to reflect on your thoughts, look back at how you have been feeling, getting in touch with yourself, your emotions, and your thought processes. So this would be really helpful. if we want to continue thriving in this situation. To go faster, slow down. Everybody who knows about orbital mechanics understands that. So if we want to thrive and really do better in every situation, we first have to slow down, think, reflect, create, innovate, ideate, and then we can move ahead in much faster pace. That way we will be able to realize what we want to do, and we'll be spending our time in our interest with our mental and physical health intact. I have added some resources that would help you try out the example tips I shared. For physical exercise, I can recommend this 1 mile happy walk. So it will only take 15 minutes of your time, and this is purely walking, just walking at your own home for 15 minutes, following the video. And even if you have difficulties working out, this could be something you can start with to release that endorphins and make your mind happy. For mindfulness exercise, you can try out Insight Timer. So it includes meditation, yoga, and different exercises for you to help become more mindful. And if you want mindfulness sessions from trainers, from professional trainers in Nepal, K Guru Group is a very good point to start. And if you really need help, you are struggling, and you really want to reach out to some professional to help you cope with the situation better, I would also recommend counselingpsychologynepal.com for psychological support and counseling. I hope you take care of your mental health and your physical health, and always remember that mental health matters. Stay safe, stay happy. Thank you.
So can you say something about that you told? Please go with your second last slide about something yoga which you have mentioned.
Sure. Is this the slide?
Yeah, K Guru. Yeah.
Yeah. So this K-Guru is an organization with professionals who have been involved in teaching mindfulness sessions. So during the mindfulness sessions, they take you through the process of meditating and getting in touch with your mind, body, and some exercises. So they take references from a lot of courses and exercises that international universities have recommended. One session that they did with our team members was from the course content from UCLA. So UCLA is a top college in the US, and they walked us through the UCLA course for getting started with mindfulness. So that was a really insightful session where we meditated following the voice of the instructor, and it really helped us like relax, feel light. Our mental and physical weight felt really light, and it was really refreshing as well. So if you want to do it by yourself, you can try Insight Timer. But if you would like to do the session with trainers, you can also reach out to Kehigoro.
Okay, thank you. And can you share some experience about the CloudFactory? So how the teams are being managed and how the remote work is done, as you have told on the slide. But yeah, a short a point about that.
So our team went 100% remote. The day like the lockdown was mentioned. So we have been working remotely, and for a lot of us, this is a new thing, and even for some of us who had been working remotely time and again, this is very different, right? So what we try to do is we try to stay in touch and maintain that social connection with each other. We have a very tight knit group, so we like to we take some time to talk to each other, discuss if we are having some troubles, or help each other on different things that we are pursuing. So any side projects we are doing, any new hobbies we are cultivating. We also have sessions regarding different things. We have lunch and learn sessions where we try to bring in topics related to mental health regarding situation. We had a panel discussion where we discuss about how working from home experience was for us, and what things were difficult for us, how we are doing better. So we try to take care of each other regarding if some member is having some difficulties and we feel comfortable. It is really important that to create that space where the members feel comfortable to come forward and share with you they are facing some difficulties with the current situation about how they are working or what things they can do. Another thing I would also like to mention is that I talked about a lot of screen time, right? Especially with all our meetings going virtual and not everybody being to distinguish a meeting that could have been an email. A lot of time is spent in front of screens. So uh, regarding that, we also try to have a meeting-free Wednesday for a few weeks as a trial as a company to see how things work. So, would that help for our well-being, or would that help on to get us to catch up with work and feel refreshed? So we try to stay in touch, and take in feedbacks and iteratively try ways so that we are supporting our peers, checking in on them, and making things easier to work in this situation.
Okay, thank you.